Welcome, UCL fans, to the Week 2 preview for the United Championship League's off-season Little Cup tournament. I'm your host, Nintendo Fanatic 64, and I have been watching all these teams closely. Week 1, of course, has come and gone, and we're going to go into covering what Week 2 matches will look like. So, first I'm going to go ahead and bring up the brackets so you can see what all there is. Of course, we have this week. It will be the South Beach Slow Kings taking on the Bristol City Blazekins, Tulsa Talonflames versus the Real Marills, Tucson Terrakions taking on Toronto Tokakis, Carolina Kileos taking on the Bronx Bearticks, and you kind of see where this is going to be going. So we're going to be covering, in this video, we will be covering the Johto and Hoenn divisions this time. Last time I did Hoenn and Johto. This time I decided to mix it up, so we're going to be covering up the other two divisions. So we'll start off with the Tucson Terrakions and the Toronto Tokakis. So, with the teams, just going by the team captains alone, of course, Togepi would have an advantage over Dano with Fairy typing over Dragon typing for it. It'll be very interesting to see, of course, last week, Porygon for the Tucson Terrakions put in a lot of work. It ended up losing in the end, but it was a real close match for them. Same thing with, Toronto Tokakis. They had, a lot of decent times, but it just didn't pan out in the end for them. Dano, of course, with his ability Hustle, kind of cost the Tucson Terrakions the win. There was a good chance they could have won had he not missed the second outrage from it. But due to its ability Hustle, which ups the attack but lowers the accuracy for it, makes it kind of harder to, to hit some of even the more basic moves for it. So, potential teams I can see from the Toronto Tokakis. I could see potentially Togepi. I see Munchlax coming. I can see Duskull coming because Duskull did alright. I could definitely see Numel coming. Probably Abra, and maybe for their fifth one, I would say either Dratini or Trubbish. Dratini just because it can get extreme speed. Trubbish if he wants to set up toxic spikes and do some damage that way. As far as the Tucson Terrakions go, I can see Dano coming. I could definitely see Porygon coming once again, considering how much work it put into last week. I could potentially see him attempting to go for another Spinarak lead as it went last time. Mime Jr. put in more work than he expected it to, so I could see Mime Jr. making a return. Psyduck as well, definitely being good. And potentially for their 6-mon, I would say either Honedge or Shellos. So as far as who will end up winning, I would say I'd give maybe a slight edge to the Tucson Terrakions just due to the battling experience that the King Nappy has over the Heatedmo. Heatedmo, of course, being a hacks god, but not a lot of hacks can come into play using these mons. It's not saying it's impossible, but it'll be interesting to see how they actually will go through with it. So, the other match from the Johto division will be the Carolina Kileos and the Bronx Bearticks. Now, coaching or team captains alone, there is no one clear winner on it. Going through just the teams that they have with the Bronx Bearticks this last week, of course, who was it that brought in a lot of work? Shelder put in the most work of the Bronx Bearticks with its skill link using Rock Blast and Icicle Spear, whatever I think the 5 attacking ice move is for it. Teddy Ursa also put in a lot of work, so I definitely see Teddy Ursa coming in. Zorua, didn't really do a whole lot, and but it did do its job, in which case it tricked their opponents last week thinking it was a Geodude. Why not? Didn't really put in a lot of work, something that I would have expected more from on it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Zoro lead with Why Not in the back, because of course the team captain or team coach of the Bronx Bearticks, Joey Pokeyam, has mentioned he was tempted to do something like that, so I wouldn't put it past him to do it again. Carolina Keldeo, during their season 1, or during the week 1, of course, Tortuga put in the most work, putting the burn on the Porygon from the Tucson Terrakions that gave it the win because the burn just eventually wore it down. Chimchar being a shock with Fake Out because you don't really see that happening with a Chimchar too often, or even its evolutionary forms. Cacnea didn't do a whole lot. Vulpix did okay. I don't remember much else. I think Elekid got one shot in the end by Porygon after it had already been through battle. So, potential teams, I could definitely see Elekid and Vulpix coming. After the work it put in, I'd be surprised if he didn't bring Tortuga. Due to the fact, Geodude, I think, is the only thing that can set up hazards. So, potentially bringing Stunky so it can defog them away. Chimchar, I could definitely see coming again, and Purloin, with its Prankster Thunder Wave, would definitely come in handy. As far as the Bronx Bearticks go, like I said, I could see Zorua and Why Not coming again. I could see Teddy Ursa because it did so much work last time. Same with Shelter. Potentially Geodude, or even Bronzor. I'd say one of those two, if not both. And then probably, I'd say either the Growlithe or the Happiny to round it out. Again, I'm watching. Whoop, you didn't see that. I'm making this video before they do any team builders that the coaches might do on the day before the matches go up. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and move on now into the Hoenn Conference. We're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Pichus versus the St. Louis Rampardos. Now, just based upon the typings of the coaches, of course, St. Louis has the advantage with Rock being able to resist normal, and normal just not being a whole lot of things. So we have St. Louis, coached by A-Drive, a.k.a. Dan, a.k.a. Hiker Dan, due to all the ground and rock types that he got. But did some decent work. I believe it was Shroomish definitely did a lot of work, helped out. Same with Diglett, Mienfoo. Yamask managed to get 2 knockouts after being knocked out just by setting up toxic spikes. So that definitely, I could see Yamask coming back again this week. Diglett with Arena Trap can definitely be useful. Not a whole lot of, there's about 3 different water types on the Pittsburgh Pichu side. Just by quick looking over, that could definitely put in work. Same with grass types with Cottony. So obviously he's not going to bring everything with it. I could see Diglett, I could see Mienfoo, Shroomish due to all the water typings that he has, Yamask once again, potentially Grimer, and then just to kind of round it out, I would say either Nosepass or Anorith, something that might be able to set up some hazards then for it, because of course Dan has been known to really be a hazard setter in not only the UCL but also in the GBA as well. At least I have noticed, in his battles he likes to try and set up his entry hazards before anything else for it. Pittsburgh Pichus, with all the water and grass weaknesses that the Rampardos have, could definitely see him bringing Cottony, could definitely bring Mudkip, Binnacle. Surskit could be brought in as well, because I think it can learn Surf. But as far as overall teams, I can see Ghastly coming. I can see the Cottony coming. I can see Mudkip. Binnacle, I think, can also possibly get Stealth Rock, so set up his own hazards. Potentially bringing Shinx in case of Talo showing up. Possibly Mana. I mean, it's a lot of different possibilities. That's why it's hard trying to figure these out. But I'm going to say Cottony, Ghastly, Mudkip, Tyrunt, Surskit, and for the last one, I'd probably say Flabebe, something that can be a response to the Mienfoo for it. So, again, that's just predictions that I have from that one. Moving on, we have the New York Menkes versus the Grand Canyon Greninjas. So, Of course, in the first week, it was definitely, I think Menkes had the most kills for New York, taking out a lot, and just based upon the teams alone, could definitely do a lot of work against the Greninjas. Of course, the coach of the New York Menkes, Shady Penguin, being one of the best battlers, I would say, in the league, at least, one of the more experienced ones out there. So, potential teams I could see. Of course, the Mankey making a return. I can see Snubble coming into play. Tentacool definitely could be useful because it can set up toxic spikes and also spin them away. So that could be useful. Or bring Baltoy to set up, like, think Baltoy can get like stealth rocks or spikes or something like that. And then bringing Scraggy, I could potentially see with all the fighting weaknesses that they have on the Grand Canyon Greninja. Scraggy would definitely be a big one to come in with it. Magnemite would be pretty decent as well because there are some rock types, so with the steel typing on there, it could definitely be helpful on it. So I would say probably Mankey, Magnemite, Tentacool, Scraggy, Baltoy, and Snubble, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. Again, these are just my predictions on what they could potentially bring just upon looking at each team. Now, Grand Canyon Greninjas, hopefully they learned from their week 1 mistakes not to use things like a citrus berry when berry juice works a lot better for them. Because they had stuff like had a citrus berry on Igglybuff and it only restored like 6 points of health versus the berry juice that would have brought it back all the way up to full health. Helioptile could definitely be something good in there. Brought Igglybuff, which was kind of a surprise, but can't put anything past Twit, coach of the Grand Canyon Greninjas. So as far as potential teams go, I would say maybe Dwebble, Bergmite, Bergmite might do decent. Larvitar, I could see Pansage. I'd say maybe Helioptile. There's not a whole lot of water there for him. Potentially Igglybuff again. So I mean, this is the one team that I can't really make a great accurate prediction on because it's all over the place, and the coach, like I said, Twit, is not the most experienced battler, so it's hard to say who he would end up bringing himself for it. So I mean, if it were me, I would say probably, just looking at the New York Menkes side of things, I would say the Archon, I would say the Dwebble, I would say the Pansage, the Drowsy, definitely, Kabuto, and then finally probably the Helioptile. Those would be the ones that I would potentially bring if I were them for it. So, but with that, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the first part of our week 2 preview. Part 2 will be going up tomorrow, hopefully around noon Central Standard Time for it. If you do enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below who you are rooting for this season, or even what potential teams you would think will be brought this weekend. But thank you all very much for watching. I will see you all next time. Take care and good night.